Good morning, good morning. Tuesday. Tuesday, April 29th, man. Tuesday, April 29th. Like I said, man, uh don't pay too much attention, bro. Don't pay too much attention to like, the time and stuff like that, right? Although like don't get me wrong, right? Time is very important, right? Time is very important. You don't want to waste your time, right? Because one thing for sure, man, time is one thing that you will not get back. You know, time is one thing that you will not get back. Um, so be wise with your time. Be wise with your time. Spend the time in the areas of your life where you know are gonna benefit you. They matter. That if you put time and effort into a skill, that at the end of the road or whatever, you know what I mean? Because life moves on, because I don't want to just be like, oh, I didn't. Nah, but when you put your time and energy, bruh, into something, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. If you put, the time and the energy into your loved ones, you know what I mean? Spending time with your loved ones, because like, there's times where as men, bro, we wire different. For sure. For sure. Not everybody, right? Not all the men, right? But there's a certain way of thinking, bro, that we're men, bro, that men are just men, right? And like, don't get me wrong, right? You got all different kind of men, all different kinds of shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? Colors and creeds and you know what I mean? Don't not like that, bro. Not like that, right? But everybody's different, everybody's unique in their own way, right? And also too, our way of thinking, right? It can sometimes affect us. It can sometimes be against us. You know what I mean? In the sense of like, bro, because sometimes like you as men, like, I don't want to say it like that because it's not all of us, bro, but we tend to mess up more, we tend to make certain different mistakes. You know what I mean? We're more hard headed. Not all of us. Not all of us. You know what I mean? Not all of us. But it's been. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Just look at the years, right? It's trial and error for everything. You know what I'm saying? So, in the sense of like, bro, there's times where we put our friends, bro, over our family. And instead of spending the time with our family, we go with our friends, right? And then that's what I'm saying, right? And then, when you around the boys, you know what I mean? It not like I said, not everybody, right? It could just be trouble, right? It could just, and it's just like, in a sense, it's kind of selfish. You know what I mean? It's selfish, especially if you got family, you know what I mean? Kids, you know? And I'm not saying every all the time, right? There's a balance, right? There's always a balance, right? There's always a balance, because also too, I came to the realization too that, you know what I mean? Well, not necessarily, right? Me personally, I'd rather spend. Everybody's different. Me personally, I don't have no friends, right? I got people that I I go to work but bro, those are just coworkers, right? But anyways, bro, as men and young men, you know what I mean? I feel like, like I said, right, in where we live in the United States, and we give a lot of importance, bro, to things that really aren't important. Like what? Like, for example, um, bro, don't give too much importance and too much of your energy into lies. If somebody lie on you, or if somebody's talking bad about you, then you feel the need like to go defend yourself and things of that nature, and as men, bro, not like I said, bro, not everybody, bro. Take the information that fits you, But you know what I mean? Also to use your brain in the things that I say when I say things, right? We tend to be more caveman style, if you know what I mean, right? Like, oh, they talking bad about, or like also too, because I used to be like that too. I used to be like, oh man, I'm not gonna let nobody call me the B word. I'm not gonna let nobody call me out of my name, bro. That's dumb, bro. That's dumb, right? And as men, right? As men, bro, you gotta have thick skin, bro, and you gotta not let, bro, words. You're gonna let some words get to you. You're gonna let some words get to you, bro. You're gonna go out here and crash out, bro. Go on a crash test dummy mission, bro, and put your life on the line, bro. Bro, put your life, your freedom on the line, bro, over some words, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there's certain things out here, bro, that you gotta pay attention to, but not necessarily only that, right? You gotta go through these things. We gotta go through these things. I went through these things. I go through these things, right? Because like I said, everything, most of it is a mindset. You know what I mean? Because as life goes, bro, you don't know how you woke up that day. Or not, how can I say it, right? You could be in just a different mindset that day, right? Because of just life in general, right? The stress, bro, from work, bro, the stress from work, from this, it ain't even the stress, right? It's just the same routine over and over. Sometimes it can get overwhelming. Sometimes it can get, but at the same time, like I always tell you guys, right? You gotta fall into routines, right? Because those very same routines that you feel like, oh, oh, I'm tired of this, just going to work, coming, bro. Those same routines, right, are the routines that will save your life. Those are the routines right there that'll save your life. That'll keep you safe. That'll just keep you safe. You know what I mean? Because like I said, right, boring is good, bro. Boring is good, right? Ain't nothing wrong, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with doing the same thing over. Nah, it's not, bro. There's nothing wrong. And like I said, like I always tell the youngins, right, bro? If you're not doing nothing, bro, get you a job, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with having you a job, bro. Stay out of the way, bro. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, like as men, bro, we hard-headed, right? We hard-headed, and it is what it is. We got to go through whatever it is that we got to go through, right? And sometimes we tend to go down the same path over and over, right? But every time you go down that path, right, get something out of it, right? Pay attention, right? Pay attention. That way you don't make that same mistake anymore, right? Because like I said, right, sometimes we got to stop with the, oh, bruh, wrong place, wrong time. Like that is a possibility, right? That is a possibility. Wrong place, wrong time. I get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, bro, you took decisions, some way, somehow, you ended up right there at that wrong place at the wrong time. You know, whatever you want to call it, right? So I'm saying about like the excuses, bro. Stop making excuses for yourself, bro, all the time, right? Stop making excuses for yourself, bro, and accept responsibility. I mean, I'm not telling nobody what to do, how to live their life, none of that, right? I'm just saying, life, if you want life is ups and downs. It's ups and downs. It's trials and tribulations, right? But if you want to have just a little bit better understanding of life, understand that the choices that you make lead you in the direction or lead you where you're at. If you're, and then don't get me wrong too, like I said, right, we all make mistakes, right? Man, we're a little bit different. We probably, not everybody, right? But I'm saying, like, we probably tend to make a little bit more mistakes, right? But ain't nothing wrong with it, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But just if you want to live just a better life, just understand and pay attention to the things, bro, that you're doing that affect you, bro, that have brought pain and suffering in your life. And why go down that same path? You know what I mean? And I get it. Like I said, right? Like somebody could tell you like, oh man, the fire is, it's a fire. You know what I mean? Don't put your hand in it because you're gonna get burned. But we're hard headed, so we wanna, you know what I mean? And that's a decision that you made, right? And then also too, sometimes we're forced in situations where we don't have no choice. But also too, with you thinking that you don't have a choice, that's how you chose, bro. Because ultimately you do have a choice. You do have a choice. Because like I said, when you do bad, you receive bad. When you do good, you receive good. And sometimes, unfortunately, you know, me and a complete stranger's paths can cross. A complete, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? A complete stranger, you and a complete stranger paths will cross and then end up in some type of, whatever. And it's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not nobody to tell you anything, right? But repent about what the things that you do, right? Like I said, right? I'm not here to tell anybody, like, this is just what I do, right? It's just what I do, bro. Seek a lifestyle of repentance. Now it's gonna be trials and tribulations, right? Because these things out here, bro, are so normalized, right? Bro, they're with the music, the radio, what else? The TV shows. And these things are normalized, and a young man out here can easily be misled. You know what I mean? By these things. And like I said, these things are so popular and are so normalized, but they're not popular and normalized for no reason, right? Because in our reality, all it brings is destruction into your life. But until you know, because you got to understand, right? Like if I knew then what I know now, things would be different. You know, when you really pay attention and understand that music is just music, right? Although somebody probably, you know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, right? What people talk about in you know what I mean? But music is just music, bro. That's not your life, right? But since you're always polluting your mind with these things, right? It kind of becomes those things that are playing over and over and over in your head, or that you're watching, bro. It becomes like, if you're not smart enough, it can overshadow and it can become your reality, because all you're doing is bombarding yourself, and you are brainwashing yourself with these bad, which is bad influences, just bad. All the way it's just bad. You know what I mean? And it's true, bro. You gotta be careful with the things that you watch, bro. The things that you hear, right? Because I'll tell you what, right? I don't listen to rap music no more, right? But there's times where I stop listening to rap music, and then I start listening to it again for like a little while, and then like pay attention to the way that you start speaking. Pay attention to the way that you kind of like start feeling yourself, like you put a little pep in your step. You know what I'm saying? Because it happens to me. I start cussing. I start using certain words a little bit more, right? And that's all due to the just constantly listening of the you know what I mean? Everybody's different, whether you want to believe it or not, right? But I'll tell you, like I always keep telling you guys, right? Every day that you wake up, bro, you get another opportunity to just better yourself. And I feel like that's what life is about. That is success. Success to me is bettering yourself. Bettering yourself and having just more patience. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, it ain't always got to be about, chili. It ain't always got to be about chili, about money. You know what I mean? But also, too, like, you know what I mean? It's always better, bro, to upgrade, right? Of course, you want to better yourself. You want to be a better person. You want to sharpen your skills. You want to do the things that you say that you want to do, but do those things, right? When you put in your head that you want to do something, do it. The minute that you want to do something so bad for the good, but you don't do it, that's when you just start, because I've been there. I've been there time and time again, where it's like, oh, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to do this no more. And I put it in my head, and I didn't want to do it, but I didn't stop doing it. That right there, now that's a tough one right there. It gets tough, right? Because you know what these things are doing to you. You know the way that they're affecting you, right? But these things got you in the headlock that you can't seem to put these things down, right? And it happens, right? It happens, right? You gotta practice it. You gotta practice it, little by little. You know, if you want to stop, you know, if you want to get in a better shape and a better whatever, you know what I mean? You used to drink 3 Cokes a day, bro. Don't do it. You drink. Start cutting back, bro. Cut back, right? And so you're able, because our bodies get used to this, even with junk food. You can't just cold turkey eating bad and then just start eating good. It's a process. And trust me, the only reason I say that is because I've been through it, right? I've been through it. But you got to understand, right? And you got to understand and take into consideration what these things do to you, how they affect you. And the minute that you're able to understand, and not only that, the minute that you start doing it, you will then pay attention to, wow, what a difference. I feel better. I think clearly. Clearly. I can think clearly. I can now think for myself. I feel better. I'm more energized. You feel when you're in a funky state, like, just like I said, I've been in a funky state, you know what I mean? And you feel down. You feel like you're tired. You don't want to do anything. I've been there. I'm getting out of a situation right now because of trials and tribulations that I put myself through. But at the same time, bro, it gets good. It gets good, man. It gets good. It gets good. It gets good, right? Because like I said, right, in order for you to get the beautiful sunlight to shine upon you, you gotta go through the storm. You gotta weather the storm. And don't ever give up on yourself. And things will, man, like how it says, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Whatever situation you're going through, whether it's good or bad, or more leaning on, like, you're going through some tough times, but this too shall pass, bro. And it will get better. But the only way it's gonna get better, bro, is if you put in the time, the energy, and the work into progressing, into wanting to get better. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, take care of yourself, man. Peace.